What is up, YouTube? M40 here. We have some relatively spicy deck profiles still on the back burner here from last week that I still wanted to talk about, even though we've just been through YCS Mayhem this weekend. So, we have an Infernoid list coming out. This was sent to me in my inbox. I believe that this got 5th place at its regional. Now, you have to understand with Infernoids this format, life isn't going to always be easy for you. But this build is interesting because I've seen a lot of variants that go back and forth on the trap ratio. This one actually just going 50 cards and, Demise of the Land for Lair or Mystic Mine or your own Void expansion field spell. You have options. Also, with your trap lineup being as diverse as it is, you basically get to cover all of your bases for basically everything that you want. So, we have 1 Artifact Scythe, 1 copy of Infernoid Antra, 1 Atandal, triple copies of Decatron, 2 copies of Deviati, 2 copies of Anuku, 1 Seismitis, 1 Sajet, triple copies of Lilith, Lady of the Laminate. With our trap board being as diverse as it is, looks like we have options here. We have triple copies of Gamma, 1 Driver, triple copies of Demise of the Land. Who said we need Metaverse? We have 1 Lair of Darkness, only 1 Mystic Mine, triple copies of Pot of Extravagance for draw power, 1 Set Rotation, triple copies of Super Polymerization, 1 Void Expansion, 2 copies of Imagination Station, triple copies of Void Vanishment, then we have triple copies of Artifact Sanctum, triple copies of Infinite Impermanence, 1 Metaverse, triple copies of Trap Trick, and triple copies of the Void Feast. Wrapping up the main deck here. Extra deck down here we have 2 copies of Hida, the Fire Charmer Ablaze, 1 copy of Dual Ludo Chimera, 1 Crusadia Equamax, 1 Starving Gunum, 2 Violet Chimera, 1 Dragostopalia, 1 Muddragon, triple Tiara, and triple copies of Ints. Side deck here we have 2 copies of Denka Rekka, triple copies of No Material. We have triple copies of Nibiru, triple copies of Twin Twister, 1 Imagination Station, and triple copies of Red Reboot. Wrapping this up. This deck has an overall very interesting time with the metagame right now. While you might struggle with some of your more standardized boards and things like that, this deck looks to eliminate that. If you get flooded out, okay, cool, we have Mystic Mine. Cool, if our opponent starts building a large board, cool, we can just super poly it away. We don't have a problem with breaking these large boards. I think it's something I actually really like about the approach that he took to this deck build. A lot of your problems, you get the best of all of the worlds. Going second, you have Artifact Scythe to, try to brick off your opponent so that you can play the game and win through to the 3rd turn. This deck it's really cool. So I will say, yeah, this is really cool. Alright. Next up, we have an Italian list. This was Salamangreat with Sign Up Backdoor. Now, from what I was reading on, I believe it was Ready for Duel that posted this. This is week 2 that this concept was coming up. Unfortunately, this concept didn't stick through the YCS. But that doesn't mean that it's not worth discussing. So, Sign Up Backdoor, quick play. Target 1 Cyverse monster you control and banish it. If you do, add 1 Cyverse monster from your deck to your hand, whose attack is lower than the monster's original attack. During your next standby phase, return that monster banished by this effect to the field, and it can attack directly. Well, you get cheesy stuff like Balancer Lord here that lets you just go ahead and get an additional normal summon. This card, if banished, you can special summon a level 4 lower from your hand. Oh yeah, extenders, by the way. So you get to kind of combo off and do really cheeky things with Sign Up Backdoor in this deck because you get things like Balancer Lord, Flame Buffalo, really cute. So we have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, triple copies of Mr. Balancer Lord, triple copies of the Flame Buffalo, 1 copy of Lady Debug, 1 copy of the Foul, 1 copy of the Falco, 1 copy of the Foul, triple copies of Mr. Foxy, 1 Jack Jaguar, 2 copies of 1 Gazelle, 2 Jack Jaguar, triple Spinny, 1 Sea Archiver, triple copies of the Sign Up Backdoor, of course. And then we have triple Sign Up Mining, 1 Foolish Barrel, only 2 copies of Desires, consistency, we know how it works. 1 Salamangreat Circle, 1 Salamangreat Sanctuary, and triple copies of Will. I think a lot of people might find that this might be a bit excessive for your general deck building. I think that this is fine. Triple Imperm, and the 1 Rage, and the 1 Roar. Pretty standardized, at least for those ratios. And in the extra deck, we have triple copies of Sunlight Wolf, 2 copies of Helio, triple copies of the Balinix, 1 Hida, 1 Boral Sword OTK Kun, 2 copies of Mirage Stalio, 1 Dugres the Timeless, 1 number 61, and Abyss Dweller. Side deck, we have triple Pangrotops, triple Phantasmi, triple Nibiru, triple copies of Mind Control, and triple copies of Twin Twister, wrapping up the Italian list. It was a little bit more interesting than I had expected. Like, the tech choice of this, it's a good idea. I think it challenges a lot of the norms that we've seen in today's metagame, but unfortunately the trend does not look like it's stuck, and I think it would have been kind of cool if it did, because this is really cheeky, this balance. Like, also, Buffalo over here, options, you know, you take them and you give them a shot. That's kind of what the format's about. Next up, we have the 12th place Magical Musketeer list coming out of the Seattle Regional from James Matson. Now, this is Magical Musket, sporting off Dimension Shifter. The ability to abuse this card. By the way, no cards in your graveyard. Just go ahead and get that free banish turned on and watch your opponent go, yikes, as they can't actually do anything. That turn 1 Macro Cosmo is pretty detrimental. It's kind of crazy. So we have triple copies of Dimension Shifter, triple copies of Magical Musketeer Caspar, triple copies of the Doc, triple copies of Kid Brave, and triple copies of Starfire. You know what you don't see in this deck? Double or nothing. I know that a lot of Magical Musketeer players like it for your general OTK factor, but there's just, if you don't have to worry about the dead draw, you don't have to worry about the dead draw. Like, you kind of take it with the good and the bad. Like, yes, you lose the OTK factor, but you gain plus 1 point of consistency. So I guess people value that consistency kind of high. We have triple copies of Instant Fusion, triple copies of Cross Domination, triple copies of Pot of Desires, triple copies of Ties of the Brethren, 1 Upstart Goblin. Then we have triple copies of Infinite Permanence, 1 Crooked Crown, 1 Dancing Needle, triple copies of Desperado, 1 Fiendish Deal, and triple copies of Last Stand. Down here in the X deck, we have triple copies of Magical Musketeer Max, 1 copy of Link Karibo, 1 Unicorn, 1 Phoenix, 1 Serby, of course the 1 Hip Hoshigan, 1 Boral Sword Dragon, and 1 Indestructible Coon, 1 Silent Monarch, 1 Dweller, 1 Thousand Eyes, 1 Mud Dragon, and the 1 copy of the Millennium Thousand Eyes Restrict. Side deck, we have 2 Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, 2 copies of Nibiru, triple copies of Dark Roller No More, aka Hadoken, triple Evenly Matched, triple Red Reboot, and 2 copies of Solemn Judgment, wrapping up this Magical Musketeer deck. Congratulations, James. You're doing well in getting your invite, good sir. And the last list we have here is, this was sent to me by my friend Suppy. This got 6th place at the Iowa Regional. It's piloted by a 1 Gavin. So, this is basically standard Salamangreat, main deck in the rocks, and triple Corruptor Ibley. Spicy. So, we have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 2 copies of Danger Nessie, 2 copies of the Jackalope, and 2 copies of the Tsuchinoko. And then we have 2 copies of Feckviller, triple copies of Phantasmi, triple copies of the Flame Buffalo, 2 copies of Ghost Ogre, and triple copies of Nibiru. Then we have the 1 Falco, the 1 Fowl, triple copies of Foxy, 1 Gazelle, 1 Jack Jaguar, triple Spinny, 1 copy of the Sea Archiver, and then we have triple copies of Signet Mining, 1 Circle, 1 Sanctuary, 1 Salamangreat Will, and then 1 Rage and 1 Roar. Then in the next deck, we have the triple copies of Sunlight Wolf, 2 copies of Helio, triple copies of Balinix, 1 Phoenix, 1 Hida, 1 Indestructible Coon, 1 Appaloosa, 2 Mirage Stalio, and the 1 Abyss Dweller. Side deck, triple Lancia, triple Nightmare Corruptor Ibley. We're not packing in the Nightmare engine, so I'm kind of curious is if he wanted to play Mermaid with this or not, or is this just being used as a generic extender? Because if this is being used as an extender and then handing it to your opponent, that's good. You have triple copies of Dark Roller No More, triple copies of Twin Twister, 2 Anti-Spell Fragrance, and 1 copy of Imperial Order, wrapping up this chunk of stray deck profiles I had for you guys. So, what do you guys think about these decks? Also, congratulations to all of you and your performances as well. I'm glad to see that there's success being had with these crazy deck ideas. And, well, I'll leave you guys on that thought. Peace out. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a truffle shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out Vanquil40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.